Coming up, Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Poles nailed this. I will tell you what this is here in just a second, but support the show. It's a new year. We're looking to do as much content as ever. If you want free and daily videos, hit that subscribe button. We go live 3 times per week, including for our weekly live watch parties. Of course, we'll have full playoff coverage. The Bears are in it for once. We're at 148,000 and change in subscribers. I would love to get to 150,000 subs by the start of the wild card game. Is that doable? We got about a little over a week until the wild card game. 150K by that game. It's a lofty goal. Share it with a friend. We're growing every day. Free and daily Bears content. Let's roll. As Week 18 is upon us and the Bears are getting ready for the playoffs, we got to be honest. This rookie class has been pretty freaking awesome, and I think we got to give Ryan Poles a lot of credit for that fact. Let's just revisit the full draft class. 8 draft picks in total. Colston Loveland, 10th overall. Luther Burden, 39th. Steal of the freaking draft. Ozzy Trapilo at 56. Shemar Turner at 62. Ruben Hyppolite at 132. Sometimes you miss. Frazier at 169. We'll see. Luke Newman, when he played and when he needed to in that one game, played pretty well. Good for a backup. And then Kyle Monangai, another steal of the draft, at 233 overall in the 7th round. I think it's pretty clear, and we can make this declaration one season in, one game until a full season in. Ryan Poles and the Bears hit on 4 guys. Colston Loveland is a clear hit. I mean, he just is. He's a 3-down tight end, can block. He's a mismatch. He's fantastic. Luther Burden, he's a demon. He's got wide receiver 1 upside in this league. Ozzy Trapilo, how high is his ceiling? We'll see, but I think at minimum is a solid left tackle. And then Kyle Monangai is just a good player. Whether you want to use the term starter or not, whatever. Clearly, him and DeAndre Swift are a 1-2 punch, and Swift is the lead back, but at times Monangai has been the lead back. So I think it's safe to say just 1 year into their careers, these 4 players are clear hits. And when you get 4 hits in a draft, that's a really, really good draft for your general manager. I also think you have 2 contributors. Now, we'll see on Shemar Turner coming off the torn ACL, but I think they were starting to get production out of him at the edge. Again, I'm not acting like he's going to be the next Chris Jones or something, but I think he can at least contribute. I don't see Zach Pickens here. Now, again, ACL, we'll see. That could certainly derail things. Luke Newman, he came in that one game for Jonah Jackson for like a quarter, played pretty well, has been banged up, just got back. But I think as a backup, the fact that he had surpassed Ryan Bates, 6th round, that's good value. You're looking for a quality backup, and I think he's just that. And then you have 2 unknowns. I would say so far, Ruben Hyppolite's a miss. I mean, he's been a healthy scratch for probably close to double-digit games this year. That's not a great sign. Good athletic profile, but he can't get on the field. And then Frazier, who's been on NFI all year for personal reasons. We'll see if he gets into the mix at corner next year. But even if they're both misses, let's say one of those 2 contributors I mentioned just becomes solid. Okay, 4 hits, 1 contributor out of 8. That's pretty good. That's the draft. It's a bit of a crapshoot. So he's done really, really well in this draft, it would appear. Let's circle back to the first 2 picks. This is a pretty cool stat. The 33rd team put out this graphic. Caleb Williams, 2025 passer rating by target. Luther Burden, 125.5. Remember, 158.3 is perfect, so that's very good. Colston Loveland, 124.1. All others, 80. So the 2 rookies have been the most efficient targets by far for Caleb Williams this season. You compare their numbers further side by side here. The efficiency is just obvious, right? Loveland, 48 catches on 69 targets, over 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 13 yards per catch. Burden, 44 catches on 56 targets, 617 and a couple of touchdowns. And by the way, Luther Burden, unless he just has like a really inefficient Week 18, but it would have to be really bad for him to dip below. It is the highest yards per route run for a rookie in NFL history at 2.98. Think about that. Every time he runs a route, he gets 3 yards. You're not getting the ball every time you run a route. That is a unbelievable stat to basically be at 3 yards per route run as a player. Now, As he becomes a full-time player, obviously, that's just going to go down. Part of that is when he's played, he's taken advantage of his opportunities, but still, that is a unique number for Luther Burden. I feel really confident in these two guys moving forward. I think they are stars in the making. I think Loveland is a classic modern tight end who you can move around. He's a mismatch versus linebacker, safeties, defensive backs, and he's a pretty good blocker too. And Luther Burden is already one of the most dynamic players with the ball in his hands in the league. Not just among rookies, in the NFL. He is that good of a player. The 49ers couldn't pretend to guard him the other night. He was the most dominant, unguardable player on the field in that Week 17 game. Who do you guys think ends up being the better player? I think both are going to be awesome. Type CL for Colston Loveland, LB for Luther Burden. It's hard to say. I mean, Loveland, obviously is a run blocker, but Burden blocks his ass off too. It's tough to pick. I think Burden is probably a little more twitchy, obviously, but he's a receiver. Loveland's a tight end. I don't know. I just know I'm glad they're both on this team because I think they're both going to be really good for a long time. Let's get to the next guy here. Ozzy Trapilo. Is he the long-term answer at left tackle? I think he's got a chance to be. We'll dive into him a little bit more. Smaller sample size as he's only made 6 starts at left tackle this season. But do got to tell you guys first about our sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on PrizePicks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and PrizePicks lets you take control. On PrizePicks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose FlexPlay, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. If you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. You pick 2 or more players, up to 6, in a lineup, and take more or less on their stat projections. All sports, tons of stats available for you guys. Little 3-player action for this weekend. I like more on Caleb Williams' passing yards. His arrow's been pointing up the last month and a half or so. He's playing pretty good football. Jared Goff, even in a down year for the Lions, has still put up big numbers. I like the more on his passing yards as well. Plus, the Bears' defense has been struggling a bit. And then Kyle Monangai, I like him to find the end zone. Rushing or receiving doesn't matter. Demon play, I think he scores. $20 lineup to win $80. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, let's circle back to Ozzy Trapilo here. So in 6 starts now, these grades are slightly impacted by, remember they were using him as like a 6th offensive lineman. He played a few snaps at right tackle in that Raiders game, but the bulk of his snaps are at left tackle and in these 6 starts. PFF's grading system, which can be wonky, but I think for offensive line is about as good as you're going to find out there. Pretty good, right? Like 60 is average on PFF, so overall, pretty notably above average at 70. Better pass blocking than run blocking, which I expected, but his run blocking has been trending up. That is good. Only 2 penalties. He's given up 2 sacks. So has it been perfect? No, but he's clearly an upgrade from Braxton Jones. He's a better pass protector than Theo Benedict, who's probably still a slightly better run blocker. But again, Ozzy's been trending up in that spot as well. He looks the part. Now, is he as talented of a player as Darnell Wright? Probably not, but you already have an excellent offensive line from left guard to right tackle. If Ozzy Trapilo is just an above average left tackle, this is a really good offensive line for at least probably the next couple of years, right? Because everybody is under contract through 2027 on this offensive line. And so whether or not he's a 10-year left tackle for you, I think it's way too early to determine that. I think he's pretty clearly your guy next year, and barring something unforeseen. And that gives the Bears a lot of options this offseason. It gives you a lot of flexibility because remember early in the year when they were shuffling Braxton, Theo, you're like, man, you're probably going to need a left tackle. I don't think you need to draft one now. It doesn't mean you don't add someone to that room or something like that, a veteran to be your swing guy if you don't want that to be Theo for whatever reason, or if you just like a guy in the middle rounds of the draft to develop. Like, you can always do that, but it gives you options with those early picks. If you want to hammer defense, if you want to make a big trade for a pass rusher, which clearly is your big need right now. Ozzy kind of just stabilizing that position is huge for that reason in the short term, which is kind of the next year or two. Okay, let's talk about the 7th round revelation. That, of course, is Kyle Monangai. Cullen's first draft crush, becoming a Chicago Bear, and he's been fantastic. And remember, they slow played him too. Early in the year, he wasn't getting a lot of opportunities, but post-bye week, he has really turned it on, and he's been arguably the best 7th-round pick out of any player. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt also went in the 7th, so, I mean, you could debate those two. But again, Krosky-Merritt was basically the starter from week 1, whereas Monangai is in a split back room and didn't have a huge role the first month. Really efficient, physical, has been a really good complement to DeAndre Swift. Had a 2 or 3 week stretch in early December where he struggled with a couple of drops, but the last couple of weeks he's made some nice hands catches as well. That's actually been a better part of his game than I expected coming out of Rutgers. We saw that early in the year and in the preseason. And he's 5th among rookies in rushing for a 7th-round pick. And again, like you look at Ashton Genty, 888, he's their lead back. They don't have a 2-back system, and he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Now, I get it, that offense stinks, that team stinks, offensive line, all that stuff, but still, like, Monangai's had a much more efficient year. Travion Henderson, Quinshot Judkins, 2nd-round picks, and then Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Monangai are neck and neck. Both went 7th round, but Krosky-Merritt, again, was the starter from week 1 this year. He was the 22nd running back taken in a draft where 25 running backs went, and he's been this productive. He's 92 total yards away from 1,000 all-purpose. I think that's on the table. Obviously, we're in terms of individual goals, we're all hoping Caleb can reach 4,000 passing. I think it'd be pretty cool if Monangai got 1,000 total. Swift's is over 12 or 1,300 in all-purpose. If you got Monangai over 1,000 all-purpose, what an accomplishment that would be for him and for this team if that could happen as well. To get this guy in the 7th round, that's a hell of a draft pick by Ryan Poles. Grade Ryan Poles 2025 draft, A, B, C, D, or F. Drop a letter grade down in the comment section below. And again, just to recap, I think you have 2 potential stars in Colston, Loveland, and Luther Burden, at minimum, very high-level starters. A solid left tackle in Ozzy Trapilo. Again, probably not an all-pro in the making, but I think a good player. And a starting-level running back in Kyle Monangai. He could be your starter. Now, ideally, him and someone else, it's a 1-2 system. Right now, it's DeAndre Swift. Down the road, maybe it's someone else. I don't view him necessarily as like a Jonathan Taylor or something where he can be the bell cow, but a very good player nonetheless. And we'll see on the other guys. I think there's still a chance for a couple of those guys to at least be contributors. I liked Shemar Turner coming out. He's got position flex. We'll see how he progresses post-ACL. Be nice if he became something because defensive line is an issue for this team, but we got to give Ryan Poles credit. The D-line, that's the one area that they're struggling with their kind of just talent and development right now, but to hit on those 4 players, all right, we could determine that right now. Those 4 players are hits. That's pretty impressive. We got to give credit where it's due. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the episode. My name is Harrison Graham. Happy New Year, and bear down.